What's up, guys? So Unadilla in the 450 class, Hunter Lawrence finally stopped Sexton's moto win streak. But I don't know if it was necessarily a new bike, but I'll get into that. We saw the return of Ken Roczen and Cooper Webb, and we saw how hard it is to jump into a series when these guys have been racing and raising the level the entire time. I'm gonna let you know some thoughts on that. And how about Aaron Plessinger? Is there anyone that has more fun on the podium than Aaron Plessinger? So Chad Reed's son might want to make a run at motocross. Well, Chad has some thoughts about that, and I really like the way that the Reed family is going about it with their son. I'm going to break all that down. I've got some more thoughts on MX Sports and their cost cutting, and I actually have something they did really good. And I'm not sure if this was them or the actual track at Unadilla, but there was one part of this that was just darn near a miracle. I'll get to that and more. Thank you to everybody who has signed up as a member. You guys are helping me so much as far as growing this thing and being able to take it to the next level. The views are there. In July, 750,000 views on the channel. So we're getting there. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to keep cranking out videos and growing this thing and giving you guys my authentic opinion.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So Hunter Lawrence, he looked noticeably better this weekend than he has since the crash at Redbud. And the one thing everyone was talking about was this new 2025 Honda. And while it might be more comfortable and, easier to ride, he didn't look any better at Unadilla than he did at Colorado or Redbud until the crash. I honestly believe he had a head injury. Concussions come with so many different minor symptoms, but we don't treat them because it's not like a knee injury or an ankle where you can do an MRI and you can see the damage. Brain injuries are weird and the brain is so complex. But one of the common things when you hit your head really hard is the fatigue. And that's something that nobody really discusses. When you hit your head, some people, all of a sudden they become fatigued. Hunter Lawrence does not skimp on training. This guy is not out of shape. So to see him fading like he was after Redbud leads me to believe it had something to do with that head injury. Was it a major concussion? No, but they still have these weird symptoms. And then, the 2-week break, and now he feels better. But, just like any sort of an ankle twist or any sort of a bruise, the brain takes time to heal, and he just needed time to let it heal. And I'm not doubting that that new Honda is more comfortable, but when your brain's functioning properly, everything feels better. Of course the bike's gonna feel better. And as a rider, if they can give you something new to think about and add confidence, and that's the whole thing about, especially on a track like Unadilla with those deep, nasty ruts that we saw biting people left and right, you have to have confidence because you can go really, really fast, but you have to understand at any moment you could end up flipping and landing on your head like Chance Hymas. So they can toot their horn and say how much better the 2025 Honda is. We've fixed everything and he's going to be in, week out. But that second moto proved it's the same Hunter Lawrence. It's the Hunter Lawrence that was battling for wins early in the season. And he was on the 2024 bike then. And I think he's at the exact same level. He is right there with Sexton, and he can win on any given day. And I believe it was the head injury and not the 2025. But like I said, I'm glad that they busted that out. But that's weird how the factories can kind of do that. They make up the rules as they go. I think they have to have a certain amount of them in production by a certain date, but we all know how this series is. They're so tied in with the factories. The factories get to do whatever they want. It's their series. Since MX Sports doesn't actually offer much as far as purse money that guys could ever make a living off of, they have to make it off the manufacturers. MX Sports knows this as they're keeping all that money, so they are beholden to these factories and they let them do whatever they want. If they want to bring out a new bike, when's the last time you saw a factory busted for cheating on the motorcycle? I can't remember that ever happening. And that's not by accident. That's not because people haven't broke the rules. It's because they protect them. And then moving on to Sexton. Sexton is so good when he doesn't have to panic and he doesn't have to worry about Jet Lawrence. He looks very, very comfortable on that KTM. He looks much like he did last year on the Honda without that on the edge type feeling. And he knows he can go at 90%. He can take his time getting through the pack because he doesn't have to deal with Jet Lawrence. He knows that he can catch up to these guys and he can settle in and still be there. I 100% believe in that first moto, if he had switched to that inside line at the bottom of the screw you, yeah, they call it the wall. The real name is Screw You. That's what the Unadilla locals have called it forever. But the woke mob changed the Screw You to the wall a couple years years ago because it was controversial. Anyway, I'm calling it the screw you. But if Chase Sexton would have switched to that inside line earlier in that first moto, I think he would have put some pressure on Hunter and probably got that moto win. And Chase Sexton isn't a guy known for hole shots. Like, that's not like his MO. We don't think of Chase Sexton, Mike Alessi as one of these guys that constantly rips hole shots. But he ripped one in that second moto, surprised me, and he was gone. And then you saw Hunter Lawrence kind of working through, and he finally passed Ferrandis on the last lap, which that was a bummer for Dylan, but I guarantee you everyone in the crowd was happy because they got their boy AP on the podium. Check out Complete Racing Solutions. Are you a vet rider that tries to stay in shape, but it's hard when you work full time, you have a family? Coach has developed express workouts for you guys, you busy professionals that really want to stay in shape. So when you get to the track on the weekend, you get the best out of your riding day and maintain a really high level of performance. So check out CompleteRacingSolutions.com. Epic Garage Designs. Travis Ogburn is a mad genius when it comes to building out garages and making really cool man caves and stuff for your garage. Check out EpicGarageDesigns.com. Travis has got floors, slat wall, and everything you need to make your garage badass. And not all of it's super expensive. You can go big, but you don't have to. So check out EpicGarageDesigns.com. Aaron Plessinger. Does anyone have more fans out there than Aaron Plessinger? This guy is so likable. He's genuine. If you didn't check the interview I did with him, check it out. This guy's great with the hair, the hat, and people are like, oh, he's a fake cowboy. He doesn't even pretend to be a real cowboy. He said he tells on the show how he became the cowboy, and he's just embracing who he is. He likes it. He likes the lifestyle. He likes the hat. He likes the mullet. And that's just who he is. He's just a genuine guy who's just going with what he likes and going with who he is. And yeah, he's definitely steering into that cowboy persona, but I think he means it. And that I appreciate about Aaron Plessinger. And this dude can ride. He is really good. And he's been ripping hole shots lately. Maybe KTM has something figured out. But he rode his ass off in that first moto. He's just not quite on the level of Chase and Hunter right now. On any given day, he can be there. And he has done that in the past. And he really wants that, elusive moto win that has been kind of dodging him. Watch for him at Ironman. I'm telling you, that's the one he's going to get a moto win at. And then seeing Jason Anderson out there. Jason Anderson is not typically a guy that loves grinding in the outdoors. He is a Supercross champion. He is a Supercross winner. That's his bread and butter. That's what he loves. That's probably what he thinks about when he goes to bed at night, when he's training. He doesn't think about these long days at Unadilla, but his job is to go racing, and he's doing everything within his power to give them the best effort. But you can see there's that 1 or 2% when somebody believes it and loves it, and somebody who's just kind of out there because that's part of the job. And that's what I see with Jason Anderson right now. He is giving everything he has, but he doesn't have that enthusiasm that can't be manufactured. So he's giving his best and riding really good, but I think you're going to see a different Jason Anderson when they get to SMX and more of a Supercross style race. That's his jam, and I think he'll do really good, and he might even actually win that thing. You'll have Roczen and Webb finding their speed, and you saw when those two jumped in there, the level raises when these guys sit out. And I was surprised that Roczen wasn't better because he's been historically, he has been amazing at Unadilla, but he clearly went out there on a mission. He is building. Him and Webb both just wanted to get gate drops so that they're up to speed by the time they hit SMX, because that's the one these guys have circled on the calendar. That's the one these guys want, and they get that fresh slate. They get to go for a real championship. Right now, race wins are big, but these guys are champions. But when they get to that SMX, you're going to see a different level from both of those guys. But you could see with both of those guys, no matter how many times you practice, no matter how many times you train or what you do, you cannot simulate that intensity of a race situation. And that's what is so important about them getting some gate drops now. It doesn't even matter how they finish. It's them getting the gate drops, getting the bugs out, and seeing where the level is that Hunter and Chase have pushed it to right now and getting up to that speed. And you saw flashes of it in that second moto with Ken Roczen. He ran up front, but then he kind of got tired. And on a dangerous track like that, he knows, okay, I'm not going for a championship. I don't have to stay at that danger zone late in the moto. So he kind of let it go and rode it in where he needed to. Webb had that crash. I'm hoping he's okay. He was holding his thumb, and I hope it's not the same thumb, but I'm hoping everything turns out all right. From what I heard, he's okay. He just banged up. Very, very unpleased with the flaggers, but who isn't? The flagging situation could not be worse, but I am glad to hear that MX Sports is looking into the F1 light type situation where if a rider stopped or down, the lights automatically automatically go on. It's about friggin' time. So hopefully they can get that as soon as possible. Let's move on this thing. Check out Ride Strapped. You got your patriotic company with their badass shirts, their goggles, and a company that I really appreciate, has been really, really good to me. Support a company that really believes in the right things. Check out ridestrap.com. Precision Transport. If you're shipping anything using a truck, those trucking companies are a pain in the ass, not Precision Transport. Their prices are good, their customer service is good. They're just a great family-owned business that you can trust with your packages. Pretransport.com. Now, as much as I always trash, I've been very, very critical of MX Sports. You guys know how I feel about Davey Coombs and his greed and the way that he squeezes the sport for every damn dime. Chintzing on flaggers and rider pay and all the different things that they skip on while jacking up prices and charging entry fees that are through the roof. I will say this. That track was a swamp on Friday. I have no idea how they made that thing so beautiful for Saturday, and I do appreciate that. They must have worked all night long on that. So as much as I give MX Sports crap, and I don't even know if it was them, it might have been the Unadilla track. Whoever put that track together and built that track between Friday and Saturday, my hat is off. You guys are miracle workers. Dang, good job, way to go. So going back to some of my Loretta's coverage, Chad Reed's son was out there and didn't look particularly competitive. That wasn't the goal. And I love where Chad Reed is coming with this. He's got Tate Reed out there, and I guess Tate has kind of expressed the interest that he wants to become a professional racer. Chad wanted to let him know, this is no picnic. You don't just show up, throw some whips, and become a champion. You have to go out there and work hard. It is not easy.
The feeling that you have right now is not a fun feeling.
I mean, again, the whole point of coming here was to show you what it's really like.
And I like that they're letting him see that side of it and letting him know you can have all the talent in the world, but you need to have that dog. Do you have that dog? Are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to do the things that Hayden Deegan does to become a champion? And I'm very, very intrigued to watch and see whether Tate decides to go that route or not, because it is not an easy route. Tate Reed has plenty of things available to him in life. He does not have to choose dirt bike racing. So if he chooses it, and Chad Reed's going to make him work, he's letting him choose it and find out for himself how hard it is, and the road that he is choosing is not an easy one. Tate has everything available to him to become a top rider in this sport. Will he choose that route? I don't know, but I love the way that Chad and Ellie are developing him and letting him see how hard it would be and not giving him, the pitter-patter, everybody trophies, we all love you mentality. At some point, society kicks people in the teeth, and I love that the Reeds are developing their child this way. Respect. All right, guys, that's it for the 450 wrap-up at Unadilla. I will be dropping an amazing show this week with Brad Allison, who was a top amateur prospect, and he was paralyzed due to the Liat brace. And he comes on and talks about that, his family, and a whole bunch more. And I've been talking about Brad and to Brad for a long time. I was there at the track when this happened, and we've been throwing around the idea of doing this interview forever. We finally did it, and now I'm just kind of editing it up, putting some pictures in and making it good. And I want to drop it at the right time because this is an important one. It's very disgusting what Liat did to him, and then the way they went after me when I talked about it. And they'll probably come after me again, and I don't really care. Screw them. All right, guys, so here's the new member today who's being featured, Tyler. Thank you so much for subscribing. You are helping me in this media venture, and all I promise you guys is authentic, and I'm going to give you what I have. That's it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate everything. I'll catch you later.